Hello everyone and welcome to Burnt Toaster Productions. I'm your host, Burnt Toaster. Rather than the typical weapon restricted run, I left it up to you all to determine what run you wanted for a 100 plus subscriber special. And to my surprise, the all achievements run for Fable Anniversary won by 69% of the vote. Nice. Now, granted, those that actually participated in the poll are a small sample size of my subscribers, but oh well. Sadly, I couldn't record my voice while I was playing as I planned to because I couldn't get the mic to work, and I was working on a totally different machine, so yeah. Also, one recording session could not be used at all, which was due to the game crashing pretty hard. With all that said, there's only one rule to this video. I have to get all of the achievements within a single run, and that's it. I will note that a nice chunk of achievements have two ways of unlocking them, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Now, let's get into the run, shall we? Right out of the gate, I have to select the Heroic difficulty, as there is an achievement tied to it. The Heroic difficulty introduces a bit of challenge to Fable. Instead of listing off all of the changes, I'll just put them on the screen since this video may be a bit on the long side. I may not have gotten every single little change, but you at least get the gist. And since I know that shops are more likely to rip you off, I get to work maximizing the amount of gold I start with before being whisked away to the guild. So I talk to the unfaithful husband, take his money, and immediately rat him out to his wife. I then go and guard some crates, except what I really did was destroy some barrels, get in a fight with a couple of beetles, and find a barrel that contained a gold piece. I quickly ran back to the crates and technically did a good deed. Afterwards, I attacked that bully until he gave me the teddy bear, and I gave it back to its rightful owner. Now I've done all I could, as far as I know, to squeeze as much gold out of this place as possible. Time to buy those chocolates. Once I've made my purchase, I run over to Teresa and give them to her. Then it's time for the bloodiest costume birthday party this side of the Mississippi. With everything on fire and my father no longer being conscious and on the ground, Maze saves me from being hazed by a member of the roving band of party people, which grants me my first achievement of the run from the smallest acorn. After such an eventful night, it's time to sleep. The next morning, it's time to start my training. The guildmaster calls me to the training area where I'm to punch a dummy. Once he sees my horrible fighting ability, he hands me a stick. With the dummy now obliterated, the alarm goes off. But before I go handle the giant beetles, I collect some apples and give them to one of the servants. Now it's time to become an exterminator. Those beetles don't stand a chance. One solid hit and they're deader than a doornail. At least it gets me some money. Some time passes and it's time for some more training. After learning the fundamentals of melee combat, it's time to spar with Whisper, which will net me my second achievement, as quiet as a whisper. All you have to do is simply defeat Whisper in a fight without taking any damage. Just to rub it in her face further, I defeated her again without being hit, which will give me a katana. After likely destroying Whisper's ego, it's time for archery and will training, neither of which are particularly exciting. I get graded on them and do well enough to get the extra stuff. Once I'm done with training, I go with Whisper into the woods, but instead of killing beetles, I get to take out 3 or so bandits that wandered a bit too close to the guild. They didn't remain there for very long. Now that the bandits are gone, it's time to deal with some sparrows. It's nothing important, but it does get me more coin to spend. Once again, some more time passes, and it's time for me to truly become a hero, but first I have to complete the test, which is quite simply beating on an old man who smells faintly of Vicks Vapo Rub. When I acquire my guild seal and level up a bit, I get my third achievement, the graduation, which just requires you to progress through the game enough to graduate. Now that I'm free to exit the guild, I head outside to go and deal with the giant bee. But before I do, I grab my first silver key. I'll try to cover all of them, but there are 30 of them scattered about the world, and with one of the recordings having been corrupted, I can't say I have footage of every single location. Anyway, when I make it to the picnic area, there's a small swarm of wasps attacking everyone they can, much like their real-life counterparts. As aggressive as they aren't tough to deal with. After the initial attack had been thwarted, I had the pleasure of fighting the wasp queen. Much like the little peons, she wasn't all that scary, but she was a bit tougher to exterminate. Then again, an angry giant bee is no match for a bow. With the extermination of the belligerent bees completed, I head off to Bowerstone since Maze wishes to speak with me. He tells me my sister has likely survived and yells at me to replace my equipment. Shortly after he leaves, I visit the smith, sell my iron longsword, and get my next achievement. What are you selling? All you have to do is simply sell anything for a profit or use the steal expression and yoink something that's for sale. Or just use the expression, I can't really remember. I then buy a steel longsword and go around the town stealing books. The reason is to gather as many as I can so I can give them to the teacher in Bowerstone once the time is right. During this bit of thievery, I stumble upon my second silver key. Once I'm done cementing my name as the Book Bandit of Bowerstone, I sell some of my other ill-gotten goods and return to the guild to tackle the Orchard Farm quest. I'm going to need all the money I can get, so I chose to join the attack on Orchard Farm, and boasted that I'll do so in my undergarments. On my way, I stopped by the Fisher Creek and helped this poor guy out. He gives me a fishing rod and I receive my third silver key from this fishing spot. Now I can go and rob this farm in nothing but my skivvies. Since a melee confrontation can be a rather painful experience when you have absolutely nothing on, I decided to take the guards out from afar. The main inspiration behind this tactic was work smarter, not harder. Before you know it, we grabbed all the crates and got through relatively unscathed. Of course, afterwards, Whisper shows up and wants to fight again. I embarrassed her a third time by defeating her without a scratch. Once the quest has been completed, I unlocked 2 more achievements, becoming a man, and that's a real lunker. All you need to do is simply complete the Orchard Farm quest and either get first place in the fishing competition, or complete the boast for doing any quests in your undergarments. With my newfound wealth, I head off to Bowerstone to buy a set of leather armor, mostly for some added protection. It's time to set off to Darkwood. Before leaving, I had gotten a level of the summon spell. There is an achievement that requires using it, but for now I'm not going to worry about that. I know the perfect quest to capitalize on. Anyway, I make it to Greatwood Lake and grab my 4th silver key. Once I made it to Greatwood Gorge, rather than giving my precious gold to a bunch of bandits, I dealt with them like the pests they are. Sometime later, I came across a troll right outside of the Darkwood entrance. It was kind of a good thing since during our little scrap I got an achievement, Feed the Troll. When a troll is throwing projectiles your way, all you have to do is swing at the right time and it will be deflected back to the troll. If you have trouble with this particular achievement, I suggest using the slow time spell to just make it a bit more manageable. When I finally made it to Darkwood, I did what I typically do, which involves telling the traders to wait so I can clear the next zone without any issues. Sure, it takes a bit of time, but it's better than having them both perish due to a bandit attack, or because of the earth troll at the end. The earth troll stood no chance as I've been killing those literal balls of dirt since I was in kindergarten. After the quest is completed, I take a little time to level some things up. Since I haven't done it yet, I went to Oakvale for the first time in years. Maze wanted to speak to me about something, pointing me to a blind Cirrus and Twinblade's bandit clan as she may have information about Teresa. He left a quest card, so all I have to do is go back to the guild, accept it, boast a little, and get going. Before I left Oakvale, though, I decided to upgrade my weapons to Obsidian and Ebony. A little extra power never hurts. Sneaking into the camp went pretty smoothly. The 3 guys patrolling the outside didn't know what hit them. The abandoned road was actually fairly easy going, and that's mostly due to the upgraded weapons. I'm actually a little thankful I was able to grab them, otherwise this would have been more tedious. I should know, doing it with a stick on the standard difficulty was mentally painful. Anyway, I get through, and once I'm in the camp, I decide to brute force my way through by ending every bandit's life subscription. During which I got the Swinging Sword achievement by hitting 3 bandits simultaneously with a single flourish. The plan remained the same in the elite camp, however I was careless and had perished. Good thing is, there was an achievement that unlocked, Get Rich or Die Trying, which requires either collecting 10,000 gold from property rentals or simply meeting your demise. I start that little section over, being a bit more cautious than before. Anytime I finished a fight and was injured, I slept in a bedroll. After all the fighting, I had the perfect opportunity to get the achievement Combat Evolved. I did this by using an Ages of potion with a combat multiplier of 20 or higher. With all that done, it's time for the fight with Twinblade himself. Like usual, it's not a difficult fight, it's a lot of dodging until he plants his weapons into the ground and gets stuck. This repeats until he yields and Teresa interrupts me before executing him on the spot. She then grants me some power, and now I can decide what to do with Twinblade here. I take out the bandits surrounding him, loot all the stuff I can, and then finish this fight. Mostly for the XP. I need as much of the stuff as I can get after all. Upon completing the quest, I unlock the achievement, The Bloodline Part 1. Before heading over to Maze, I grabbed the Heal Life spell. There's an achievement I need to use it for. Maze has a favor to ask of me, and that is finding the archaeologist. He's supposedly somewhere in Witchwood. Good thing I know exactly where he is and how to get to him. With that ahead of me, I felt like an upgrade in armor was needed, so I go to Oakvale and buy a set of chainmail armor. I then head back to the guild, go to Lookout Point, and talk to this trader. He acts as a tutorial on how to deal with escort missions, but I've been ending his life repeatedly to get whatever gem he has on his person. This time though, he actually serves a bit of a purpose. So I get him to follow me, I punch him, then heal him, getting the Hero Their Health is Low achievement. Instead of going and dealing with that quest Maze had for me, I decided to raid Oakvale for all of its books and other valuables. After further cementing my name as the Book Bandit, I go to the general store, buy a spade, and sell off some of those gems. A spade is needed for a few quests and some silver keys. Speaking of silver keys, I chose to get as many as I can at the moment. I went to the Guild Woods and decided to do a little fishing, netting me my 5th silver key. Searching for more silver keys, I come across a tattooist in Greatwood Lake, which means I can get the Ultimate Warrior achievement. All that's required is to get a haircut, a beard, and a tattoo. While here, I also unlocked the silver key chest, getting the Get It Off Your Chest achievement. It only needs you to unlock your first silver key chest, which isn't difficult if you're looking for them or have a guide. I go to Orchard Farm and engage in a little more fishing, giving me silver key number 6. Since I'm fairly close by, I make a stop at Rose Cottage. I show the demon door my middle finger, unlocking the Open Sesame Middle Finger achievement. You can get it by either unlocking all 12 demon doors or showing one the finger. I also wanted to drop by to grab my 7th key. I then go to the Hob Cave, specifically the Focus Chamber, to get another key. Afterwards, I stop by Darkwood Lake to secure the 9th key. This one is a little less obvious than any of the others. You just have to shoot an arrow into the hole that's on the stone and the key will drop. I get my next key from this fishing spot at the Ancient Cullis Gate, which means I now have 10. For my 11th, I stop by the Grey House and fish in this little pond in front of the Demon Door. Next, I go to the Memorial Garden in Oakvale and dig next to the statue, giving me my 12th silver key, and an Obsidian Great Axe. The 13th key I found was in Twinblade's camp, located right here in front of this chest within this circle of flowers. After all of that key searching, I wanted to relax a bit by doing the Traitor Massacre quest. It's pretty easy, especially since I'm properly equipped for it this time around. So you know how I was supposed to go find the archaeologist? Yeah, during that recording session was where the game crashed and the recording was completely unusable. My last save was about 2 hours from where I was, and I felt like I had come too far to go back. The only achievement that I unlocked that I didn't get to use footage of was the Summoner's Tale achievement. All you have to do is summon a powerful creature to fight by your side. I replicated it here by letting my summoned bandit take out a Balverine. I also didn't get to show me getting 2 silver keys, as I had 16 after finding another silver key in Knothole Glade. Anyway, time to get to the task at hand, dealing with this white Balverine. It's not the easiest thing in the world, considering I don't have a silver augment on my weapon, but that's because I'm planning on replacing the weapon later. I didn't want to waste the free augment. Getting to the fight, after so much damage has been done to it, it'll call in some lackeys to help out. Honestly, focusing on them will make it a bit easier to deal with white Balverine, mostly because you're not being attacked from multiple sides once the normal ones are gone. This fight wasn't anything spectacular at all. It's not like Balverines can distract me by tap dancing and yodeling at the same time. Once all the fighting is done and I go back to the Chief of Knothole Glade, I finish the quest and unlock the Under a Full Moon achievement. I bought some tattoos and unlocked the For Every Achievement a Choice achievement. I was trying to work on a different one, but it looks like they boosted my evil points to the max. I then stopped by Twinblade's camp to get the bandits mad at me, used Turncoat on one of them, and then received the There Is No Spoon achievement. Since I'm here, I buy the last piece I need for the assassin outfit, wear it, and flatulate, unlocking the Ass Creed achievement. I then stop by Knothole Glade to sell some stuff and buy the Dark Plate Mail suit. Feeling like I'm now good to go, I head over to the arena to participate and get this over with. Considering the arena is just a lengthy combat section, I'll do us all a favor and cut it relatively short. There's only 2 achievements tied to the arena. Gladiator Ready, which requires you to simply get through it, and Are You Not Entertained, which requires you to stay in for all 8 rounds. The only thing of note to happen was me deciding to kill Whisper for money. I didn't just deal with several white Balverines only to walk away. After all that, I meet Teresa at the Grey House and she tells me our mother is being held at Bargate Prison. I then go back to the guild, level up, and buy a master katana from Knothole Glade. Well, instead of working on getting my mother out of prison, I decided to go on a little detour and visit Bowerstone North. That is until someone called the guards on me. Afterwards, I remembered about a demon door that I should be able to enter. the one in Greatwood Gorge. The reason I'm stopping by is to get started on the Horde mode achievement. Once things have cooled down, I go back to Barrowstone North and decide to pursue Lady Grey. So I give her a gift, buy a house, get the Project Ego achievement for placing a trophy in said house, find her necklace, and finally fight Thunder. On my way to meet him, I found my 17th key in a ring of flowers close to a scarecrow and found the 18th in another ring of flowers next to the windmill. Now I can fight Thunder and yeah, it's not an exciting fight. It just consists of attack, flourish, repeat until he uses his ability, then you just have to move away. Anyway, once I get his health down low enough, he rushes me around the edge of a cliff, causing us both to fall. We're still alive though, which means more attacking and flourishing for me. When his health is low enough for him to retreat, I start fishing, getting my 19th silver key. With the key acquired, I can finish this fight with Thunder. Since Thunder has been humbled rather harshly, I can return to Lady Grey and finally marry her. Though to be fair, there were a couple more reasons. I need to go into the manor to grab my 20th key and grab the strongest light weapon you can grab before fighting Jack, glitches notwithstanding. After I grab those, I make a small trip to the guild to open the silver key chest in the training area. Once I have the Great Hammer, I stop by Barrowstone North and flirt with someone in front of my wife, granting me the Marital Relations achievement. Afterwards, I go back to Barrowstone South and eat a moonfish, earning the Hero of Time achievement. I also did the same thing with a golden carrot. With everything settled so far, I have to go save the archaeologist. Honestly, this went a lot smoother than I was expecting, especially the end of the quest where I'm on a time limit. Now that he was saved, he told me the path to Bargate Prison is through Litchfield Graveyard, but that's all he knows. When he leaves and the quest is completed, I unlock the A Family Friend achievement. After I make it to the graveyard and the gates are opened, I start fishing, getting my 21st silver key, then I find my 22nd one in this crypt and the 23rd from digging in this grave plot. I also now have 2 of the 4 pieces for Nostro. All I need are sword and shield, both of which are pretty easy to grab. With all of this stuff returned, I can get through to Bargate Prison. Or that's what I would say if I didn't have to deal with the Circle of the Dead first, though it's not exactly tough to get through. This katana works wonders. When the circle has had its fill of violence, the quest is completed, unlocking the Fishing in a Graveyard achievement. Getting into Bargate wasn't tough, the undead didn't stand a chance with my relatively new weapon. While I was getting into the prison proper, I found my 24th silver key in this ring of mushrooms. I also find my mother, get her out of her cell, fight off some guards, and then get caught by Jack himself. Well, this is quite the pickle, isn't it? Thankfully, all I have to do is win a race twice and steal the key. It will automatically fail the first time, but afterwards I can get the hell out of here. After I grab my stuff, of course. Heading out, I have to fight more guards and eventually come across the Kraken. The fight isn't tough, just a tiny bit tedious, though the biggest concern was getting through it without my mother perishing since she kept getting squished. Regardless, the sea monster has been dealt with and we can finally get out of here. As a sort of reward, I get more power from my mother after she directs me to Hook Coast, through the ancient Culls Gate within Darkwood. Once the quest is completed, I unlock the Bloodline Part 2 achievement. As I was making my way through Darkwood, I remembered there is a silver key chest with a pretty nice legendary crossbow. Moving on, I have to feed souls into the Culls Gate to get it active again, which proved to be pretty easy. Now I can go on through and get into Hook Coast. I go looking for that abbey my mother mentioned, and there seems to be a magic barrier that wasn't there previously. Mother then tells me to come back to the guild since she found a book that may help. When I get back, she gets kidnapped and I find the book she was talking about. Before I do anything else though, I stop by Barrowstone and go to the barber. After choosing some specific hair and facial hair, I finally unlock the Beauty or the Beast achievement, meaning the hero is incredibly unattractive. I then go through Hook Coast and steal as much stuff as possible. I want to make sure I'm good when it comes to books. After all of that, I return to the guild and talk to the guildmaster about what to do. He tells me to go back to Hook Coast and stand in front of the magic barrier so he can dispel it. Since screamers are massive jokes, it takes me no time at all to reach the barrier. Then Maze betrays everyone, deciding to side with Jack. And now it's up to me to deal with him. The fight is far from difficult thanks to my weapons. I found the 25th silver key in the lighthouse, grabbed the great axe in the silver key chest, and shortly after, Maze met his demise, unlocking the There's Always a Lighthouse achievement. I head back to the guild and finally finish the strength tree, giving me the That's My Man achievement. Now it's time to chase Jack all over Albion to attempt to stop him, which if you've ever gotten this far, you know it's futile. So once he activates the last focus site, I follow him through the teleport. He has then raised the guild and seems to have made his way to the Chamber of Fate. Of course, not too long after I enter, he ends the protagonist's mother, and that means it's the start of the fight. But before we can do anything about Jack, I have to deal with his little minions first. It isn't the smoothest, since Assassin's Rush doesn't work very well in this area for some reason. Good thing I grabbed slow time. After the minions have been destroyed, I can start to fight with Jack. In melee, he can hit fairly hard, but as long as you watch your health, you'll be fine. The most annoying part is the fact that he'll move around a decent bit. Once that part of the fight is over, he'll float in the air and use magical-based attacks. Since I have a pretty good crossbow, this part was practically a cakewalk. Except for the horde of minions, but as long as you keep moving and focus Jack down, you'll be golden. Once he's finally done for, it's time to make a decision, either keep the Sword of Aeons or throw it out. I decided to throw it away since I'll be getting Avo's Tear as soon as possible. After completing the quest, I unlocked the A Wild Jack Appears and I Am Legendary achievements. After visiting my mother's grave, the guildmaster calls me back to the guild. When I get over there, Scythe requires some help, which will require me to go and solve the Fireheart puzzles in the demon door behind us. I get through the puzzles without too many complications and get the Fireheart. Afterwards, I went over to the Temple of Avo and pulled the Harbinger from the stone, unlocking the Arthur or Robin achievement. I then went over to Greatwood to visit Fisher Creek and participate in the fishing competition. I need to at least get the second place prize, as it will give me my 26th silver key. It'll also grant the Rod of Champions, which is an improved fishing rod. With the new rod, I decided to fish again, getting a 94-gram moonfish. It was more than enough to get top prize, which was a fisherman's hat, and also unlocked the second half of the That's a Real Lunker achievement. Once I was done fishing, I teleported to Oakvale to participate in the Chicken Kickin' competition. On my second attempt, I got a score of 185, giving me the prize of my 27th silver key. After thinking about it, I decided to stop by the guild and grab Avo's Tear so I can continue the main quest. I went to Hook Coast as Scythe directed and placed the Fireheart in the lighthouse. Naturally, nothing can ever be simple, and I have to defend the Fireheart while it charges. It's not really too painful. I'm at the point in the game where I'm practically unstoppable, and it helps that all I have to do is focus on the summoners to progress the quest, the completion of which unlocks the Winter's Coming achievement. Since I'm now in the Lost Bay, I get my 28th silver key from this grave right here. Moving forward, I have to fight my first ice troll, which are more of an annoyance than an actual threat. Eventually, I made it to Snowspire Village, and if you guessed that I immediately went around to steal whatever books I could find, you received the prize of a peanut butter chocolate chip spam cookie. Since I've gathered pretty much all of the books I need, I head back to Bowerstone South and give the teacher all 25 books, unlocking the Education Rules the Nation achievement and giving me my 29th silver key. With almost all of the keys gathered, I head to the Necropolis to find those Glyphs of Inquiry. There is also a silver key chest that I'm wanting to open for the best armor in the game. Before I can reach the last Glyph of Inquiry, I have to deal with another ice troll. Once again, they're not really a threat and more of a big nuisance. After the ice troll has been taken care of, I have to fight some summoners before I can get the last glyph. Grabbing the last one unlocks the Are You Listening to Me achievement. Now that I have all the glyphs, I go back and fish for my 30th silver key, finally unlocking the You're a Super Player achievement. With all 30 silver keys now in my possession, I get over to the Lost Bay and unlock the silver key chest, giving me the Avenger and some gems to go with it. Since I grabbed all the legendary weapons from silver key chests, I go ahead and give the Demon Door all of my keys. I don't really need anything else from the chests. I already have enough health and mana to see myself through the rest of the game. With the keys delivered, I go ahead and grab the Bereaver, which means I'm almost done with another achievement. I just need one more legendary weapon, which I know just where I can get one. Remember when I married Lady Grey? Well, the Demon Door of the Grey House will open if I'm married to her, and has a legendary weapon inside. Once I have collected Ronak the Axe, I unlock the Horde Mode achievement. Since I'm close enough to unlocking another one, I stop by Bowerstone and buy a couple of weapons, unlocking the But You're a Wizard hero achievement. Since I'm doing some further achievement hunting, I go to Knothole Glade and make my way to the Temple of Avo. On my way, I remembered I had a dress and bought that redhead wig. I found an unsuspecting trader, donned my dress and wig, then shot him in the head with a crossbow, unlocking the I Did This for a Chivo achievement. I then continue to the Temple of Avo and donate 100,004 gold, unlocking the Choosing My Religion achievement. Now that I'm a certified good boy, I head over to Oakvale, sell some of the gems off, and go to the tavern to buy some beer. I then, for whatever reason, go to Bowerstone, buy some more beer, sleep until night, and give this lady plenty of beer, unlocking the drinking game achievement. With one poor woman particularly pickled, I get over to Bowerstone Key and jump into the Fistfighters gang. It's basically like boxing, where it's more or less scored on hits you land and take. Although unlike boxing, it'll get to a point where I only need to be hit once or twice to lose. Regardless, it's not really rough to get through, you just have to block, roll, and attack at the right times. After a while, you'll be able to take on the Knothole Glade Chief. It takes quite a bit to take him out. All the while, I only have one screw-up. Regardless, I come out of it victorious, earning the Fight Cluck achievement. And since I know where the frying pan is, I don't need the treasure clues for it. Granted, if you just take it without all 6 clues, it'll literally be useless as its damage value is at 0. But I need it for an achievement, so I don't really care all that much. Since I know where I can go to not get in trouble for using it, I teleport to the Heroes Guild and smack Leo, the hero title vendor, with it, earning the Out of the Frying Pan achievement. Now I can go and get through some more of the main quest. I didn't return to Scythe after grabbing those glyphs since I got a bit distracted with achievement hunting. Regardless, we go to the Oracle, which explains that Jack is still kicking around, just not here. He's through the Bronze Gate, and in order to open it, I'll need to use his mask to feed souls to the Archon Shrine. Briar Rose got to translating the inscriptions while I was gone and tells me the first one requires the soul of a king of the arena. She told me to pay Thunder a visit, so I did. He told me that the souls of arena winners were stuck in the arena. Or I could also just take his soul, which is what I decided to do. I didn't want him to live a life of further grief since he has already fallen pretty far from where he was. The fight is a usual fight with Thunder, lots of flourishing to break his guard with a little bit of ranged combat when he calls his lightning down. Before you know it, I've gotten Thunder's soul. Now I can return to the shrine, put his soul in this thingamajig, and move on to the next one. The Heroine. Rather than fight Briar Rose because she's a bit annoying to fight, I decided to take my mother's soul. She was fine with it as she wants me to avenge her family, but first I need to deal with a large horde of Jack's Screamers. Screamers are pretty weak in terms of toughness, but their attacks feel like they bypass armor and deal direct damage. Or it could be due to their damage being buffed. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. Regardless, I deal with the screaming Halloween decorations and grab my mother's soul. Then I head back to the shrine, slot her soul into the whatchamacallit, and can get to work on the last one, the oldest soul. Which will either be the Guildmaster or Nostro. Well, I didn't want to fight through a horde of guards since it's not really as interesting. So I decided to go pay old Nostro a visit. He's pretty chill with having a soul being used, but I must first take it through combat. The only way I can damage Nostro is by taking out those that swore to protect him, even in death. The good thing is, unlike most tougher variants of the undead, I can flourish as much as I want since his men die in one strike and he can't be knocked down. After a little bit, I finally defeat him and take his soul to put it into the doohickey back at the shrine, earning the Making Tough Decisions achievement. With all the souls collected, it's time to fight Jack for the final time. And honestly, this is the smoothest this fight has ever gone for me. I defeated him in roughly 3 or so minutes. The fight wasn't hard, as for a nice portion of it, I stayed close to his face when he was on the ground, smacking him with Avo's Tear, and using multi-strike to deal as much damage as possible at any given moment. Eventually Jack falls and I have a choice to make, wear his mask or throw it away. Considering I don't want to be the evil version of Jim Carrey, I throw it away and unlock the #spoiler and Great Balls of Fire achievements. I'm not done just yet. I still have 2 more achievements to unlock, so I go to Oakvale, buy a house, drink some beer, eat a nice portion of red meat, unlocking the Definitely Not on Rails achievement. However, I still have one more that can be an absolute pain or simply a minor annoyance. The last achievement needed for Steam is the Fable Heroes achievement, which requires you to play some mini-games and perform well on them, whether it's to simply get a particular score or complete it within a certain amount of time. But the task at hand is to collect all 7 hero dolls and give them to Mr. Gout. Good thing is I can buy the Thunder doll from Bowerstone North. With the first of 7 collected, I go back to Bowerstone South and get ready for card pairs. My goal is to complete it in 30 seconds or less, which I thankfully do on my first try, earning myself the Briar Rose doll. Next game is Coin Golf in Oakvale. Now if you're anything like me, you probably don't like golf all that much. And it's made a little worse since this is based on using joysticks if you're playing with a gamepad. The goal is to complete the course in 11 strokes or less. Yeah, this was a little painful since the littlest screw-up could cost me the attempt. And it took me a nice number of them. The best strategic advice I can offer is to try to use the obstacles to ricochet the coin into a desirable position. After 9 tries, I finally got the Whisper doll by completing all 4 holes within 10 strokes, which means I only have 4 more dolls to go. The next one I decided to tackle was the one in Twinblade's camp, which is Spot the Addition. The condition I must meet is to get a better time than 25 seconds. This is usually one I struggle pretty hard with, and it's because my brain requires a tiny bit more time to process everything. Or in short, I'm a bit of an idiot. Although it doesn't help that this minigame has a bit of jank when trying to select a specific item. Well, when you're using a controller. Combine all that with the stress of trying to get it done within 25 seconds or less, you can at least partially understand why I hate this minigame with a passion. But on my 4th or so attempt, I cleared it within 10.4 seconds. I was simply blessed by RNGesus and a bit of determination. Next up is Knothole Glade with card sorting, the goal being to sort them all in less than 25 seconds. This one can be pretty easy if you don't overthink it, but with my brain already being scrambled from Spot the Addition, I was overthinking a lot. I'd also move a little too fast at times and completely miss a card that I should have selected. After 19 games of card sorting, I finally completed it and got the Scarlet Robe doll. My best advice for this game is to try to be as efficient as possible. In other words, avoid going back and forth as much as you can. Of course, the card placement seems randomly generated, so this one may take you a couple of attempts. Next up is Hook Coast, where I must complete Shove a Penny with a score of 30 or more. It wasn't too hard when I really focused on how to replicate a 10-point shot. On my 4th attempt, I got the Maze doll. Last stop is Snowspire Village, where I have more coin golf to play, though this time I must complete the course in 10 or less strokes. After 18 attempts, I completed it within 8 and got the Scythe doll. With all the dolls collected, I just need to speak to Mr. Gout and hand the dolls over. In exchange, he gives me the Jack of Blades doll. After about an hour of playing pub games, I have unlocked the Fable Heroes achievement. Even though I have all of the achievements as far as Steam and the achievement counter for Fable is concerned, Fable Anniversary has some achievements that have 2 unlock conditions. Regardless of how I feel about that little design decision, I felt like I didn't technically get all the achievements. So it's time to set forth and get some more. Since I forgot to mention it, and it may have been in that recording that got corrupted earlier, I did take care of that archery competition the only way I know how. I eliminated the guy hosting it and took the trophy, which gave me the other half of the Arthur or Robin achievement. Anyway, the first thing I decided to do was make the hero more attractive. The Beauty or the Beast achievement simply requires you to be as attractive as possible or as unappealing as an American gas station tuna sandwich. It's pretty easy to do, as all I need to do is get a trim, grow a beard, and mustache over at Bowerstone. Afterwards, I decide to finish up the rest of the demon doors. During the overall course of this journey, I was able to open about half of them. Since I know of one that I can open immediately, I head to Knothole Glade. All you have to really do is shoot the demon door with a powerful enough shot from your bow or crossbow. That's quite literally it. The next demon door on the list is the one sitting at Rose Cottage. Thankfully, I took a small detour to Bowerstone, bought some chocolates, and gave it to the demon door. Now it's time to deal with one of the more difficult demon doors. The one at Greatwood Caves requires you to talk to it with a combat multiplier of 14 or higher. There are a couple of methods to achieve this. I can't showcase both of them, so I'll simply show you what I did. Upon entering the area, a troll will spawn. Deal with the troll and do your best not to take any damage. Once it's dead, head on over to the Hob Cave and exterminate those little rats. Every time you move to a new zone, your multiplier will be divided in half, so once the little gremlins are done, go back out and fight the troll again. If you did everything right, you should be able to open the demon door once the troll is dead for a second time. Next demon door is located in Darkwood Bordello. This can be one of the more awkward ones to open. Your family and your friends will never look at you the same. I'm kidding. I hope at least. Anyway, to open this demon door, you must have relations 10 times. Considering I also went through the effort to grab the deeds from the previous proprietor's secret hiding spot, I don't have to spend a metric ton of gold to achieve that. Even saying that makes me feel a little gross. I then felt like opening another demon door, specifically the one in Barrow Fields. It simply wants you to be overweight, which is easy considering I have plenty of red meat sitting in my pockets. So that one is open now. I also wanted to try to get some more annoying achievements done before returning to open another demon door. I bought and rented out a couple of houses to eventually amass 10,000 gold from rent. But rent takes time to accumulate, so in light of that, I decided to do the other part of the Project Ego achievement and show a trophy around. The thing is, Barrowstone is pretty packed in, but has verticality with a nice chunk of its homes, so I put a pin in it and went around to gather a set of bright plate mail armor. I'm going to need it for the demon door located at the abandoned road. All you need is that set of plate mail, a set of Dark Will user robes, and then the bandit outfit. After you talk to it while wearing each outfit, it'll open up and let you through. Am I the only one that feels strangely sad when opening this demon door? After that, I only have one more demon door left, but as I said, I wanted to focus on a couple of more tedious or annoying achievements. So, to gain as much morality as possible, I started donating to the charity shop in Snowspire. But eventually, I caved in and started to work towards opening that last demon door at the Bordello. After using the services of one of the workers there, I head to the demon door and it lets me through, finally putting an end to the slight nightmare that is opening all of them. And since I'm still looking to get more good boy points, I give the deeds to the madam so she can turn the place into a refuge. Now it's time to get to Oakvale and win the top prize at the chicken kicking competition for the other condition of Fight Cluck, which actually wasn't that hard. I got pretty lucky with my chicken placement and kicks. With the fact that I am the chicken kicking champion, I head to Twinblade's camp to show off one of my mini trophies. Because the area is pretty small and open, this is the best place to easily get the other unlock condition for the Project Ego achievement. Once that is done, I head to several taverns, buy some beer, drink it all while looking out to the sea, and return to the guild. A bit of time passes, and I finally vomit on the guild floor. Ah, just like old times. This also unlocked the other part of the drinking game achievement, meaning I only have a few more achievements to go. Sadly, it can't all be good news. I wanted to get the other part of the definitely not on rails achievement. Since I chose to marry Lady Grey without investigating her further, the cellar to the Grey house is permanently locked. I tried everything I could. I re-entered the area, I fiddled with my lantern, I tried talking to people central to the quest, and I got nothing. That's entirely my fault though. I was so distracted with trying to unlock as many achievements as I could within a timely manner that I simply forgot that you have to investigate her if you want to visit all the regions. And if you don't, you're locked out of being able to enter the cellar. With that disappointing revelation, I didn't want to quit just yet. I still have some more I can at least attempt to do. Since I was almost done and I wanted to speed up the process of receiving rent, I spent a few nights at Twinblade's camp. I then collected the rent and finally got the other half of the Get Rich or Die Trying achievement. With all that done, I donate some augments to the Snowspire charity to try to reach the maximum amount of good morality. I ended up getting pretty close, so I had to make a quick little stop at the Temple of Avo to donate some money. Since I don't have much use for money at the moment, I went ahead and donated 10,000 gold, finally giving me enough morality points to get the other half of For Every Choice an achievement. Now I can focus on the other part of choosing my religion. I have to sacrifice 10 unfortunate souls to the Temple of Scorn. I did this by hiring mercenaries. This took a while since I had to wait for them to respawn, but eventually I got it done. I also ended up getting Scorm's bow. Too bad it will not see much use from here on. With almost every achievement unlocked, I have one more I can work towards. The other half of the marital relations achievement. I just have to get my spouse, Lady Grey, to give me a gift. While it sounds simple on paper, it can be quite the pain to get. Then again, I don't even know if Lady Grey will give me a gift. I decided to give her gifts, leave for a couple of days or so, return to give her some more, and hope she would give me one. However, I wasn't really planning to go so far for all of these achievements, and I'm fighting against time here. After trying for a solid couple of hours, I decided to give it one more shot. Well, shit. Considering I don't have much time left as I'm currently typing this little section out on the 11th of this month, I have to simply give up the dream for now. With that slightly depressing turn of events, this run is finished. This was quite a bit more tedious than I originally thought, but to be fair, that's partially because I decided to attempt to overachieve. And technically, I got all the achievements. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you. I never thought I'd be at this point, and even though I've had some frustrating experiences with content creation, you will make it worth it to continue pursuing. I'm thinking of doing more Fable runs in the future, so if you want to see more of them, be sure to like this video, share it with your friends and family, or whoever the hell else, and subscribe. Once again, thank you for 100+ subs. This has been Burnt Toaster from Burnt Toaster Productions, and I shall see you all next time. Bye for now. Wait a minute, there's one last thing I have to say to you psychopaths that wanted me to do this. In all seriousness, I appreciate that you chose it. I'm just playing around. Take care, everyone.